What am I doing here? How did I get here? I'm in a cave. The entrance is 1,000 feet back. There's only one way out. I kick wrong once, I silt the entire place. Everybody says I should be scared. I feel calm. I'm comfortable. I'm fascinated with everything that I'm seeing. My name is Christian Clark. I'm the 2011 North American Rolex Scholar of the Our World Underwater Scholarship Society. When I was awarded this opportunity, I had so much going through my head. The biggest thing, I was excited. I had a little bit of nervous anticipation, but I was about to start the biggest year of my entire life so far. And the main goal of my scholarship year was to explore as many different opportunities as possible and meet as many different people as possible, with the idea and hopes that those people and those experiences would help push me in the direction that I want to go. Some of the highlights of my year were definitely my bigger trips. South Africa, month-long cruises in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands and the Bahamas, and my mini trips to Florida. I've always been interested in the more extreme environments and animals, and having a background in apex predators, it's always been a dream of mine to work with great white sharks. So I headed to South Africa. Well, unfortunately, when I got to South Africa, the winds were kind of uncooperative, and the research boat didn't get to go out at all while I was there. But I still spent every day working out on a boat. I did everything from run the chum bucket to handle the bait line to help people in and out of their wetsuits. It's a really tough feeling to explain to someone, seeing these massive animals swim up to the side of the boat. I mean, they're swimming by the cage, and the cage is 12 feet long, and they're sticking out on both ends. And not only that, they're wider than the cage. Just seeing them in their element really, really makes you appreciate them. My time in South Africa wasn't all work. I also got to get out on some personal dives and spend some time in Cape Town diving with fur seals and seven-gills. It was pretty amazing diving with the Cape fur seals and the seven-gill cow sharks. It was two totally different experiences though. The Cape fur seals were excited and animated and swimming at me all the time and blowing bubbles in my face, whereas the seven-gill cow sharks were almost docile-like. They just swam slowly, meandering through the water. As much as I love being in the water with really cool animals and cool people, I find myself wanting something more. I'm always looking for a goal or a purpose, and it's kind of just a natural progression with me for research. I was invited to go on this cruise in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands because it was a mix of apex predator work and deep technical diving. It was a no-brainer. The goal of the cruise was kind of two big projects. One, to continue looking at apex predator movements around the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, and also to study the deep mesophotic reefs and their fish assemblages and coral makeup. On the first deep trimix shakedown dive, we kind of ran into a problem. We had a little bit of an incident that really opened my eyes to a lot of things. A good friend of mine ended up having an unfortunate accident which neither he nor anyone else was responsible for. It was just kind of an unlucky day, but I can still remember him breaking the surface. It felt like forever until he finally came to again. I was acting as a safety diver on it, and it was amazing when everything started coming together, how quickly both myself and the other responders just reacted based on instinct. After the incident, we changed protocols quite a bit, and we didn't focus on those deep reefs anymore. And since the deep trimix diving was no longer going on, my role in the cruise kind of changed. Where I was split between apex predators and trimix before, now I was more concentrated on apex predators and tagging. Aside from the work and the research, when we put our tools down and had some downtime, we all ended up congregating on the bow, telling stories and playing music and even having art hour. And in the end, it truly was an amazing group of people. The month-long cruise I got on in the Bahamas, we went to the Inaguas and to Hogseye Reef. It was one short leg of a 5-year global coral reef expedition that the Living Oceans Foundation is studying coral reefs and laying down baseline data for future generations. My role on the ship was to do kind of a mix of everything so that I could get the greatest range of experience on the different projects that people were working on the cruise. The best experience on the Bahamas cruise for me came when the captain allowed myself and another researcher to hike ashore to try and find this blue hole that Bernard had seen on Google Earth. I remember looking over the edge at the blue hole and just having this awesome feeling of accomplishment, like we had found it. Almost immediately we jumped in looking for any sign of a cave, and there it was. From below the surface came this crack. Swam over, dove down, and there was a cave. Even only getting a couple of glimpses of the cave, but seeing just the network of life in there, and knowing and thinking that maybe no one's ever been here before, maybe no one's ever seen this. It was something that really made me think about, maybe this is something I can do, this is something I want to do. I decided to try cave diving after meeting Jill Heinerth last year at a dive show. She was giving a presentation to a bunch of young high schoolers about what motivates her and her passions, with the idea of motivating them. And by the end of the talk, she had motivated me with all of her stories and her imagery and her passion. And from that moment on, I decided to give it a shot. My first time cave diving, I remember being at the mouth of the cave and the water flow pushing back, and I remember thinking, man, this is crazy. I'm actively trying to get into this cave. The flow was pushing against me and I kept crawling forward, and then finally got past the opening. And once inside, the cave really started showing itself. Colors started popping out, formations started forming, and I remember turning one bend in the cave and the room just opened up into this huge cathedral-like tunnel. And that was definitely one of the most powerful moments of my entire year. Jill's a person that truly sticks out in my year. She spent a lot of her own time with me, teaching me about caves and showing me about caves, and without knowing it, transferring her passion for caves and fresh water from her to me. I learned a lot of lessons cave diving with Jill, but the one that sticks out with me was she was having me simulate a regulator failure while trying to find my way out of the cave. I missed the turn, and she let it happen. It wasn't too long before I realized what I'd done, but in that instant, I realized the complete seriousness and severity of the situation, and how quickly things can go wrong in a cave when you lose just even a little bit of focus. Once Jill was comfortable with my training, she asked me to be a stunt diver in her documentary, Ben's Vortex. And while reenacting some of the bad situations that cave divers get into, I learned a lot, especially about what not to do in a cave and what can go wrong. pretty crazy to have such a strong passion for something that you never really thought much about beforehand. But in the end, it makes complete sense. Wild caves aren't some big bitey animal that are going to try and get me. They're an extreme environment, and they're a place that demand total respect and require extreme focus. In that sense, I can see why it's a passion for me. In this last year, cave diving definitely had the biggest impact on me out of all of my experiences. And it really made me rethink everything I thought I already knew. And it's opened up new doors for me in exploration and research. And it's pushed me in a new direction, one that I'd never thought about before. From where I was a year ago to where I am right now, I never could have imagined where my year would take me. So, what am I doing here? How did I get here? I'm in a cave, and exactly where I want to be. I came to this point after experiences that took me to foreign countries and all over North America. It's the people that I met, the projects I was a part of, and the lessons I learned that helped me realize what direction I want to take my life. The scholarship is a close family of people and organizations that have one passion: water. And it's because of this community that I am where I am today. I may never have realized my passion for caves had I not taken all of the opportunities that this year presented to me. No one is ever really sure of what lies ahead for them. We can only use our experiences to guide us in the direction we want to go. I have no idea what all lies ahead for me, but through the experiences of this last year, I do know it will involve caves.